Yo, what's up everybody? It's Victon here with my updated 3.19 Animate Guardian guide for you guys. There has been a lot of kind of talk about Animate Guardians this league. Some good conversation has come up from, for example, Gazzy, and I know a lot of folks have come into my my stream and on my YouTube videos asking kind of like what I am doing for my Animate Guardian. A lot of people are concerned about Animate Guardians in general because of how rippy things have been this league for minions in general, and also definitely the Gazzy videos. So I kind of wanted to just kind of explain what I'm doing for my Animate Guardian, and let you guys know at least that my version of the Animate Guardian that I've been running has been totally fine, totally safe. It's actually the cheapest probably it's ever been compared to last leagues, so that's a pretty good situation. I think you can do pretty much the whole quote-unquote in-game Animate Guardian setup for about 120, 140 chaos. We'll check it here when I go over the gear. But it's in a pretty good spot. I think we can get a lot of minion defenses this league on gear for ourselves that definitely boost his defenses up quite a bit. And also, like I said, you have access to the full Animate Guardian gear set probably earlier than you ever have, just because the gear is a lot cheaper than it's ever been. So I think the Animate Guardian is actually in a good spot right now, and my Animate Guardian has not died since I summoned him. Since the very beginning of the league. He's actually been alive and been totally fine, and I've been doing some pretty scary content. I've been doing Uber bosses, etc., and he's been totally fine. So let's go ahead and go over what I have for my setup, and then I will talk about a couple of the items that you can get on yourself to boost the defenses for your Animate Guardian. So it's a pretty standard Animate Guardian. We've changed some very small stuff here. But yeah, so the Doppelganger this league is actually super cheap, so very happy about that. 24 chaos here for a decently rolled one, right? So 37% less physical and chaos damage taken, while sane. Very, very strong for defenses, so he's taking 37% less physical and chaos damage taken, so very good there. And also regenerate 10% of life over 1 second while hit when sane, so that actually stacks as well. So anytime he gets hit, and if he gets hit again and again and again, he's going to be regenerating 10% of his life just over and over and over for however many times that he actually got hit. So it's incredibly strong. He is regenerating a ton of life per second with this. So this is overall just an incredible item, and this in itself almostly is what makes him survive pretty much everything, just this item alone. And it's never been this cheap before. It's typically between 1 and 2, like used to be exalts, but like we'll say 1 and 2 divines. I guess technically it is between 1 and 2 exalts right now. Feels bad. But yeah, so it is in a pretty good spot for like currency wise. You guys can pick this up very early on and get your Animate Guardian going. Honestly, if you pick up just this chess piece, as long as you have the good stats for your Animate Guardian in general with some of your other gear, you can literally start rolling your Animate Guardian right when you get this, and be totally fine. Now, what do you want to put on there as well? This is pretty standard here. We are going to be using the Kingmaker for 50% critical strike multiplier for fortification, which means 10% less damage taken. We're also going to be having Culling Strike, which is fantastic. And 30% increased rarity. Hey, that's not bad. Maybe we can get some divines from those opulent mobs, right? So that's not bad either. And this is pretty cheap as well. So what are we at? So 65 chaos. And this is buying a Kingmaker straight up. You could probably save 5 chaos or so if you do the vendor recipe for Soul Taker plus the Heartbreaker plus a fusing orb in a vendor, and you can probably save a little bit of currency there. So we'll still say 65 chaos plus 25, so we're at 90 chaos total so far. Learcast is actually really good this league as a cheap option. So you and nearby allies gain 50% increased damage, so fantastic. That is not bad at all for only 2 chaos. And moving on to the next one here, we have our gloves. This is kind of personal choice depending on what build you have. So we have in my build, the best would be elemental weakness. You could do something like vulnerability on hit if you are a physical build, or you could even do something like enfeeble on hit if you would like to have a little bit extra defenses. That is totally fine as well. What I would do is make sure you get one with the highest increased effect, so up to 48%. Don't get one with 40%, get one with 48%. And these are pretty cheap as well, so 1 chaos for this. And do keep in mind though, if you do get an extra curse, so for example in my build I am self-casting flammability, we will need a +1 curse boots. So in order to utilize this curse right here from our Animate Guardian, we're going to need to get Windscream boots as well for him. And this is, you can apply an additional curse, so that will allow him to curse and you to curse. So those boots are important, and it's also not too bad because it also comes with some all elemental resistances, which is pretty solid. Not necessarily needed, especially when you get some better items on your build. We'll explain that here in a second, but it's nice to have for sure. Moving on to our helmet here, we have two different versions. We have, and this again, this is once you get your Leer cast right, this is only a couple chaos. If you want to upgrade it further, you can, and we're in a good spot here as well. These are usually, 1 divine plus, and they're actually only 20 chaos this league, so not too bad, not too bad. So what we're looking for here is nearby enemies take 6% increased elemental damage. So that's just a flat more multiplier, so really good there. And that is the elemental version. There is of course also a physical version if you're doing physical minions. So nearby enemies take 9% increased physical damage. So pretty solid there as well. One thing that you can do is, depending on if you have a little bit more currency, you could try and find one that has an open suffix, for example. So like this one, right? This one's 50 chaos. You could craft on here, +15 to cold and chaos resistance, and that will get you some extra chaos resistance for your Animate Guardian, which is not bad. That will help you cap his chaos resistance a little bit easier, so not bad at all. So yeah, so that is your full Animate Guardian setup. Now there's a couple things that you can do both with your items and also your tree. So let's talk about the items real quick first. So this is a new ring that comes from the Lake of Calandra that is absolutely fantastic for defenses for our minions. Now these are called Gloam rings, and they're relatively cheap just depending on kind of what you get. The most important stat here though is here, left ring, minions take 15% reduced damage. So that is a flat reduced damage taken. Very, very strong. Just make sure you have this ring actually in your left slot instead of your right slot, because the right slot is minion takes 15% increased damage. We definitely don't want that one. So yeah, get this one, and you can do a ton of cool things on here. So I'm going to read off the stats of mine that I have. So the one that I have using in my build right now is minions have 31% increased attack and cast speed, and also minions have 33% to all elemental resistances. And then I have a couple of negative modifiers that don't affect my build. So I have -25 to evasion, and that's it. So that's all I have on my Gloam. I think I purchased this for 1 divine. Not too bad, I think. That is a ton of attack and cast speed and also all resistances. So I think that is totally worth, in my opinion. It has no stats for yourself, so kind of keep that in mind. What I've kind of noticed this league is that our ring slots are almost not, it's not like what we used to do. We used to get, a ton of resistances for ourselves and a ton of stats, maybe dexterity, but this league, it seems like it is much better to use ring slots for our minions mainly, and if you can get some elemental resistances, dex, all that sort of stuff, then great. But if not, it's still very good to try and get some either defenses or offenses for your minions on here. So for example, the bone rings that are new to this league as well, I also have a bone ring in my build, and the implicit for bone rings, if you guys do not know, is minions have plus, I think it's up to 15% to all elemental resistances. So again, it's just making it easier to cap your elemental resistances. And on mine specifically, I also have some more elemental resistances, like 17% increased elemental resistances, and I have minions have 20% increased movement speed on there as well. I've got some life, some res, and some energy shield as well. So my ring's pretty solid, and it's actually, I think I didn't even pay too much for it. But yeah, so the point being there with those two rings is that you can get left ring slocket, minions take reduced damage, 15% reduced damage, and also through your rings, you can cap out your elemental resistances for your minions. And the reason that is really strong is because of a couple things. We are also going to get on the tree the minion defensive mastery that is, let me pull it up here. on my, you guys can't see my screen, I apologize, but I'm just going to read it to you. So the minion defensive mastery is minions have 8% to all maximum elemental resistances, right? So that's going to take them up to 83%. Let's make sure at 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, okay. That takes them up to 83% all maximum elemental resistances. So that is really, really good. Very strong, and you're easily able to cap out that 83 resistances with a couple rings, and maybe even if you get something on your shield. So it's, point being, it's very easy to get a full 83% cap on your minions. So for your Animate Guardian, he's going to be rolling with 83% all res, taking 40 up to 40% less physical and chaos damage, and also via your gloam ring, he's going to be taking another flat 15% reduced damage. Making sure that at least for my build, and I think most necromancer builds and even guardian builds, I'm sorry, not guardian builds, like if you're a scion, then we want to be using bone offering. That's going to give them a whole bunch of extra defenses as well with the block chance. So yeah, doing all those things, like I said, my Animate Guardian is totally fine. He has not even come close to dying. And I've been doing some pretty difficult content for sure. I've done some Uber bosses with him. He's been totally fine as well. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video for you guys as an update to the Animate Guardian that I use for my builds. And honestly, this can be used for pretty much any minion build out there. Like I said, there's 2 different versions. You got your elemental one, you got your physical one. And if you do want to use this specifically, this better POE trading app extension, there is a download link in the description below. In order to use this thing, if you guys do not already know, what I do here is I export it and share on my screen, and it's this big long text right here, right? So I go to pastebin and I paste it in there for you guys. So when you click the link in the video description for this, it is not the pastebin link itself. It's actually all of that text. So literally go to that pastebin website and copy all the text in there. And what you guys want to do is come down to the very bottom here and import folder. So we're going to import folder right here, and you're going to paste all of that text right there, and it'll say this: Animate Guardian. I will change that scale image. I'm going to say maybe like 3.19. And then you can import it there, and it'll show up right here for you. If you do not have the better POE trading app extension, don't worry about it. Obviously, you can just kind of search for this stuff yourself. It's pretty straightforward. A lot of the items are just unique items that you can literally just search for. So rest easy, my friends. Animate Guardian is okay. I know a lot of people are nervous because they've seen the Gazzy videos, but you know, in my experience doing this setup specifically, making sure that you're capping your elemental resistances, making sure that you have bone offering up, all that sort of stuff, your Animate Guardian will be totally fine. And the good news, like I said, is Animate Guardian is the cheapest it's ever been to run an in-game setup. Like I said, it's usually between at minimum 1.5 to 2 to sometimes even 3 divines. This league, we can do it for not even a divine. We can do it for probably like 100 chaos max. So it's in a pretty good spot, and I absolutely think that everybody should be using this. I guess the last thing to mention here is that you do want to get as many, you know, plus to level of all minion skill gems on your build. So I'll just kind of explain what I have on mine. So on my helmet, I do have a +2 to all minion skill gems. On my wand, I actually only have +1. I don't have a +2 wand yet. So my Animate Guardian right now is only level 25. He's sitting at 54,000 HP. He's chilling. He's got meat shield, and he's got minion life. Those are the two, and it's not even qualityed up, either of those two things. And it's also got Race Spectre in there as well. Yeah, I'm 54,000 life with those gem links, with that gear. I promise you guys, your AG will be totally fine. And the good news is, if by some random crazy reason it does die, it is the cheapest it's ever been to re-gear him up. So that's all I got on this one, guys. I hope it does help you out and you guys do get some benefit from this Animate Guardian. If you guys like the video, definitely hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like the video, send me a comment below, let me know if you guys are using it or if you don't want to use it. I know a lot of people just don't like Animate Guardian, so let me know that too. Yeah, that's all I got on this one, guys. I will catch y'all in the next one.